What's going on, MCU fans, and welcome back to another Top 10 list. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while now, then you know that I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's my favorite film franchise of all time. I love to make top 10s and rankings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And today I figured I'd give you guys my top 10 favorite duos in the MCU. Groups of two people that are buddies or maybe some couples thrown in there. These are just my personal favorite duos that I have loved ever since the start of the MCU. Absolutely let me know in the comments section below what your guys' top 10 favorite duos are in the MCU. Throw out some honorable mentions as well as explain why you love these duos. Give me reasons why. Don't just post your top 10. Let's have a nice conversation in the comments below, and we could talk about our agreements or disagreements, because let me just say, we're going to have completely different lists and disagreements. I have 6 honorable mentions, and my first one is Gamora and Nebula. Two sisters right here, Zoe Saldana and Karen Gillan. We got introduced to both of these characters in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. We got to see Gamora turn from being a villain into a hero, and Nebula as well as a villain turning into an anti-hero, and then with Endgame. And these two as sisters starting off not liking each other at all, and then they've grown to love and appreciate each other in Endgame. Captain America and Sam Wilson, or Captain America and Falcon. Now, I will have duplicates in this list because many main heroes have multiple duos. The introduction to Sam Wilson in Winter Soldier is one of my favorite introductions right here. The friendship he has with Steve Rogers, Captain America. It is so great. I love these two chemistry, Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie. Next, I have Peter Parker and Ned from Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. These two are a really underrated duo for sure. In Homecoming, Ned finds out that Peter is Spider-Man in that one particular sequence. It is hilarious, and these two have each other's back no matter what. Ned promises he won't tell anybody he's Spider-Man yet. Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Nick Fury kind of seems like he'd be the ride solo type of guy, but you got Maria Hill at his side in the first Avengers movies and so on and so forth. This is a duo I think people don't talk about enough, even though they don't get a lot of shine-in moments. It's just cool to see Nick Fury have someone to turn to. Carol Danvers and Maria Rambeau in the first Captain Marvel movie. I think Maria Rambeau might be my favorite character in Captain Marvel. I wish she had a little bit more development to her, but I do like the duo and relationship chemistry she had with Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, whatever. And finally, Thor and Hulk. Just a great duo right here. Love Thor and Hulk. Their chemistry when they first started in the first Avengers movie, when Hulk punches Thor in the Battle of New York, and then you transition that duo to Thor Ragnarok. Just a great comedy and movie all around, expanding their friendship, and an Endgame as well. Professor Hulk being the one to mantle on Fat Thor, or I could possibly put all of Thor's duos or friendships he has with every MCU character like Rocket and Star-Lord. Just these two right here, I gotta put Thor and Hulk. Those are my 6 honorable mentions, some really great duos, but there are 10 that I love more. So let's begin. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Doctor Strange and Wong. Now, Doctor Strange and Wong, when they got introduced in Doctor Strange, I think it's a really funny duo that they have, even though I find the first Doctor Strange movie to be one of the more overrated MCU movies. Just the comedy in that film I felt was mostly forced, trying to make Wong laugh. But in Infinity War, I think Doctor Strange and Wong had some really funny, cool moments in there. And it's a duo that I think could get even better in Doctor Strange 2. And you got Benedict Cumberbatch and Benedict Wong playing these characters. I just think they're a really cool duo. They work really well together. The comedy at points feels very forced, but I just think this is a really great duo, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in Doctor Strange 2. Coming in number 9 is going to be Black Panther and Shuri, or T'Challa and Shuri. Brother and sister. I love Black Panther. I know many people think it's one of the more overrated comic book movies, But one of the highlights for me was the brother-sister relationship with T'Challa and Shuri. Shuri was one of the highlights of Black Panther. Just, she's a young child controlling all the technology and the vibranium in Wakanda. And just all the scenes and the interactions and the working together that T'Challa and Shuri have. They're a really great duo. I almost considered putting T'Challa and Nakia or Okoye, but I think Shuri and T'Challa seems to me the duo I look towards. Coming in number 8 is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, not the movie, Ant-Man and Wasp. Scott Lang, Hope Van Dyne. They're a relationship, a romance as well, but you got Ant-Man and the Wasp as a duo. That was the title of a movie. And these two work really well together. I love their relationship, kind of hatred towards each other in the first Ant-Man, but then they've grown to respect and love one another throughout the first movie. And I just think Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly have really great chemistry in both Ant-Man movies, actually. Even though I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is one of the more overrated MCU movies, I still think the romance as well as the duo relationship they have in both of the movies just works. Coming in number 7 is going to be another couple, Scarlet Witch and Vision, introduced in Avengers Age of Ultron. Vision was one of my favorite parts and cool introductions, Scarlet Witch as well, and then they start to develop a romance in later on installments in Civil War and then Infinity War. Now, of course, we're going to get the WandaVision show coming out later this year, which I'm very excited and curious to see the different take that they're going to take for the MCU. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Scarlet Witch in the upcoming installments of the MCU Phase 4. As well as Vision, even though he's dead in Infinity War, spoilers. Scarlet Witch and Vision as a duo is really cool, but I wish they had more moments together. That's why they're at this spot. Coming in number 6 is going to be Iron Man and War Machine, Tony Stark and Rhodey in the Iron Man movies and the rest of the MCU. I think the first introduction of these two in the first Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Terrence Howard, who I prefer as Rhodey over Don Cheadle, I just thought the chemistry worked between those two. Terrence Howard obviously was out of the first Iron Man, and then Don Cheadle replaced him in Iron Man 2. Even though they had their bickering moments in Iron Man 2, they've learned to work together and respect each other and have each other's backs no matter what. Kind of like a Cap and Sam Wilson, they have each other's backs no matter what, and they work really well in the action scenes. And Rhodey as a character should get more praise in the MCU. He's very underrated, and I just love the friendship between Tony Stark and Rhodey. Before we give you guys my top 5 favorite duos in the MCU, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on all these duos in the MCU, hit that like button. It really helps with the algorithm on my channel. And if you want to see more content like this, more MCU stuff or other videos, then consider clicking that subscribe button, because I do top 10s, rankings, movie reviews, Blu-ray videos. And if you're interested, I do a podcast called the Fallen for Film Podcast with my co-host Colin Williams, where we dive into all the newest trends in movie news and tons of movie content. And the best thing is, I do this on a weekly basis. Coming in number 5 is going to be Cap and Black Widow. Now, Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff, they meet each other in the first Avengers movie, and they had some really cool moments in there, but really the duo relationship expanded into Winter Soldier. Now, I know a lot of people wanted a Cap and Black Widow romance, but I think they work better as a friendship or a brotherly sister type of relationship in there. Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson have great chemistry with one another. They've been in lots of movies, not just the MCU. And I just think these two are some of my favorite characters in the MCU and duos. I just love all the movies they've grown their relationship. Infinity War, Civil War, Endgame. It's just really paid off for these two. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Rocket and Groot. I am Groot. Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, whoever thought this would be a great duo? I mean, this was my biggest concern about the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, why are we having a movie with a talking tree and a talking raccoon with a gun? And this worked. Rocket and Groot stole the show in the first Guardians movie. Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel, great as these characters. And as a duo, it just works. In the first Guardians, you really care about these two creatures. And when Groot dies in the first Guardians, spoilers, Rocket is just crying and you feel so bad for these two because they loved each other. And then in Guardians 2, baby Groot Rocket does anything for Groot. If anything bad happens, Rocket feels bad. And stuff does happen in Infinity War. Groot turns to dust and Rocket's by himself in Endgame. He does everything possible to get Groot back, as well as the rest of the Guardians. Coming in at number 3 is going to be another rocky brother or sister relationship. It's Thor and Loki. I think this brother relationship would not work in the MCU if you didn't cast the perfect actors. And they did with Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston. They are just great together whenever they're bickering or they're working together. It's just these two right here is some of the best casting in the MCU. Thor and Loki's brotherly relationship, going back to the first Thor being very selfish and Loki wanting the throne, both wanted the throne, and it just went all the way to the first Avengers movie where Loki's the villain and Thor's trying to stop his brother from going mad. And just, I think Thor and Loki, just whenever they're on their rocky terms, really develops their characters, and I think they learn to work together more in Thor Ragnarok. To see Thor losing his brother in Infinity War in the opening scene is just really heartbreaking to watch, because Loki as a character, you know we've seen him die many times, but this one really hits Thor a lot. And I just think these two as a duo is just really great. Who doesn't love Thor and Loki? Number 2 is going to be Iron Man and Spider-Man. Tony Stark and Peter Parker. This was just a duo that absolutely worked. In Civil War, seeing Peter Parker, Spider-Man come back, Tom Holland, just one of the cool moments in Civil War. And then Tony Stark is at his house and recruits him to try to fight Team Captain America in the battle at the airport. And you got to see that relationship more in Homecoming. Of course, Tony's being the mentor figure for Peter Parker, Peter learning how to grow up and not always rely on Tony Stark. It's just really great. In Infinity War, seeing Tony finally being devastated of losing Peter Parker in Infinity War after the snap, and then in Endgame getting motivated to do anything possible to get Peter back, as well as the rest of the gang. The powerful stuff hits after Tony Stark's death, where Peter has to grow up now because Tony Stark is gone, and it's just really powerful and Far From Home. And this is a duo that has sparked the MCU, Tony Stark and Peter Parker. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know who my favorite MCU hero. You can tell by the shield in the background. Yeah, number 1 is Captain America and Bucky. Like, easily, these are the two best duos. It's the most iconic MCU duo. The first Captain America movie, first Avenger, just to see Bucky stand up for his skinny friend Steve Rogers, punching that guy, beating him up, and it's just sparked into a great friendship since the first Avenger movie. Winter Soldier, I don't even need to talk about Winter Soldier. What a mind-blowing plot twist as well in the comics. Bucky as the Winter Soldier in Captain America, the spark in trying to get his friend out of being a villain, and it's just really grown drastically in Civil War, where Bucky is being the target because of all the stuff he did in Winter Soldier. And seeing Cap do anything for his friend is just a true testament of friendship. You gotta put Cap and Bucky, and they're easily my favorite duo in the MCU. There you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 favorite duos in the MCU. Again, let me know your guys' top 10 down below. Do you agree with my picks or disagree? Thank you guys, as always, for watching this top 10 list. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.